It feels like homecoming week this week on the Blitz. A homecoming of sorts for Dante Fowler, who returns to Dallas. Could it be a homecoming for the Cowboys' first-round draft pick this year? And Tyler Smith feeling right at home in his hometown. The Blitz starts right now.
Pops out to the right, breaks a tackle. They blitz it. Prescott throws it down the right side for Lamb. Caught it! Back to throw, rush, sack by Parsons.
Belt tie snap. Prescott with plenty of time. Lobs it end zone. Jake Ferguson.
It is time for another edition of The Blitz, your Dallas Cowboys report inside the Globe Life studios here at the beautiful Star in Frisco. Bill Jones along with Nicole Hutchison Kyle Youmans will be joining us in just a little bit with a draft preview. And I don't know about you, Nicole, but I've already torn up my brackets. I can get back now to focusing on not only NFL free agency, but the draft, which is now just over a month away.
Hey, well, my bracket's going strong. You know, when you get to talking about what's happening with your bracket and the basketball guys look at you like, let me fix that real quick. So, hey, I'm not going to talk much about who I've got winning it.
Yeah, well, you wait till the Sweet 16. The basketball guys might get you then. All right, let's look ahead to what's coming up in the coming weeks, but also we look back the last couple of weeks and what the Cowboys have done in free agency. And the refreshing thing, I think, for Cowboys fans is they have done some things this year in free agency. And let's first look on the offensive side of the football, the additions they've made there, and what are you thinking about some of these guys on the offensive side for the Cowboys?
Offensive side of the ball, I mean, you have Miles Sanders, the new running back from Carolina, Paris Campbell, a wide receiver from the Eagles who just won the Super Bowl with them. Hello. Then an offensive lineman and Robert Jones. But my favorite signing of those three, and also Javonte Williams, can't forget about him as well. But my favorite signing so far is probably Miles Sanders because you get a compliment of what Javonte Williams can do. Javonte's more of that powerful physical runner. You get from Miles Sanders more that speed guy who can get skinny in between tackles. He's also elusive in space. He's shifty, got good vision as well. So didn't get much time because his time diminished, his snaps diminished because of a guy, I don't know, maybe Chuba Hubbard maybe. But yeah, I'm looking to see what he can do for this Dallas Cowboys run game.
Yeah, and maybe he can return to the Pro Bowl form he had earlier in his career. The other thing it does from a Cowboys perspective is you do have a couple of veteran running backs, and it does leave the door open to draft a running back. And as we all know, it's a deep running back draft this year. We'll have more on that coming up. But let's flip over to the defensive side because there have been several key additions on defense.
Got to start with the linebacker position because DeMarvion Overshown, we do not know the timetable of when he will return from his knee injury. And you have only Maris Liufau, Buddy Johnson so far. But you've got a guy like Jack Sanborn. And when you look at the film, he's a guy that's kind of nuts. You look at him, he's flying all over the field. He plays with intensity, plays with really good instincts as well. And the team's goal is obviously to stop the run. He has a relentless willingness to stop the run as well. So I'm looking forward to him being in that linebacker position. He plays the Will and the Sam. You don't really know with Damone Clark whether he's going to be the green dot as well. So giving a lot of versatility with maybe a guy like Jack Sanborn and even Kenneth Murray as well.
Yep, and Sanborn having played in Matt Eberflus's system before. And the other thing on Kenneth Murray Jr. is the fact that I trust Matt Eberflus. When he goes and looks at tape and he sees a linebacker that he likes and the Cowboys make a trade to go pick up a linebacker, I'm going to trust Matt Eberflus on that. But what the Cowboys have also done up front, and we'll get into this a little bit coming up here in just a moment with the addition of Dante Fowler, Solomon Thomas on that defensive line. They've filled some of the voids, but they also leave themselves open to be able to take the best player available at a variety of positions because we all know this team has a lot of needs, whether on defense or on offense.
Yeah, and you're getting some experience. That's something that they feel like this coaching staff feels like they hadn't really had. So Dante Fowler, a proven pass rusher, specifically when he went to Washington, but even when he was a rotational piece in 2022 and 2023 here in Dallas. But you're also getting a guy out of Peyton Turner. You don't really know what you're getting out of him because he's battled with so many injuries, but there's a lot of upside from him, specifically because he was a 28th overall pick in 2021. So they saw some upside from him hopefully he can bring a lot good.
Cowboys have added
Yeah.
5 former first-round draft picks on defense. What about on offense? Maybe in the first round this year. We're just getting started here on the Blitz. Could a Frisco Lone Star Ranger be headed to the Dallas Cowboys at number 12? What will the Cowboys do there? And Dante Fowler has come back to Dallas, and we chat with Dante when the Blitz continues in just a moment.
The Dallas Cowboys Blitz, presented by Blockchain.com, is brought to you by AT&T, an official sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys, and by Blockchain.com. Invest like your icons with Blockchain.com. This segment is brought to you by AT&T, official sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys.
Welcome back to the Blitz here inside the Globe Life Studios at the Star in Frisco. Bill Jones along with Nicole Hutchison, and Nicole had a chance to chat with one of the guys who's a familiar face who the Cowboys have signed in free agency. One Dante Fowler is back in Dallas.
Yeah, I mean, we know that the Dallas Cowboys like to spin the block on a lot of players. They did it with Ezekiel Elliott. Now they're doing it with Dante Fowler, but they certainly hit the mark with him. 1 year worth up to $8 million in incentives for his deal, but got a chance to catch up with him this week when he got to put the pen to paper, and let's just say that he is really happy to be back here in Dallas.
Man, it feels amazing to be back, man, and I'm definitely happy to be here in Dallas, ready to get going with the guys, for sure.
I call your last season in 2024 your I'm still here year because, you were more of a rotational piece 2022, 2023 in Dallas. But when you went to Washington, DQ was able to get the best out of you in terms of sacks specifically. How big was that year for you in terms of that production?
It was pretty big, just to be able to go out there and, still go out there and just like you say, show the people that I'm still here and be able to produce at a high level. I felt really confident going in this season, especially with these past 2 years, getting to work from Coach AD and Micah and D-Law with the D-Line group that we had. I definitely took a lot of that and learned a lot from these past couple years and took that to Washington and, just put it all out there and just let my work, show for itself. I was able to get double-digit sacks and stuff like that with, some more reps that I was able to play this year. But it definitely worked out in a good way, and I'm happy to be back now.
What can you learn or take from what you learned in Washington and bring it back here to Dallas?
Just being a vet, definitely matured a lot in that way. I'm getting up there now, so just being a vet, being that vet that can, lead on the young guys, lead by a good way, try to develop them in a good way, lead by a good example and things like that. And, just going out there, setting the tone for my defense and, getting wins and, sacking the quarterback.
What's something that you feel Matt Eberflus can get out of you that no other defensive coordinator has been able to get out of?
You can get a lot out of me, to be honest with you, just because, I still have a lot out there, to prove and, to put out there. So, I'm looking forward to playing in this defense, and I'm ready to go out there and lay it all on the line.
Like what you said there, you have a lot to prove. I saw a tweet on Twitter where you had said that, the disrespect, I can't take it no more. So just what are you looking to prove? What's left to prove for Dante Fowler?
And just keep showing guys that I'm one of those guys. I feel like I'm better than a lot of some of the guys out here, and I'm just keep coming out there with that chip on my shoulder and keep proving I love football. So I play this game for the love of my game, and every time I go out there, anytime I get an opportunity to play football, I'm gonna leave it out there. Excuse my language.
Listen, Bill, there's a lot of high expectations for Dante Fowler coming back here. He had 10.5 sacks in Washington. That's his second best in his career. So only up from here, but this is also the highest annual value, the richest external free agent. Let's just note that as well, that Dallas has agreed to in 10 years since 2015. So again, that means this team obviously is expecting a lot out of him for this defensive line with Matt Eberflus.
And adds to those edge rushers, which includes Sam Williams coming back and, of course, Micah Parsons as well. All right, the Blitz continues in a moment. What might the Cowboys do at number 12? Could running back Ashton Jeanty be part of the equation? Kyle Youmans joins us when the Blitz continues.
This segment was brought to you by AT&T, official sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys. segment is brought to you by Reliant, the official energy provider of the Dallas Cowboys.
You obviously want to see some of the tangibles, some of the measurables that they have, and see how that translates into the things that we're going to ultimately do offensively. But then when you have an opportunity to work with them, see how coachable they are, see how they move around, and some of the change of direction, and how heavy their hands are, can they run off the football. Right here in our own backyard, having the opportunity to watch athletes across the Big 12 compete and do their testing and get your hands on them is a huge advantage.
The second annual Big 12 Pro Days held this past week at Ford Center here at the Star in Frisco. Welcome back to the Blitz. Bill Jones with Nicole Hutchison, and now joined by Kyle Youmans with the telestrator out, taking a look at what the Cowboys might do at number 12. Kyle.
The possibilities are abundant for the Cowboys at pick number 12 overall. And Bill, as you mentioned, the possibilities are endless, but I've got some names you should keep an eye on early in your draft prep as we're a month out from the NFL draft. Let's start at wide receiver. Teteroa McMillan starting to turn some heads out of the Big 12 in Arizona this past year. The highest recruit in the history of Arizona athletics. He was a 5-star recruit to AZ, and he was a lifelong Wildcat who put up some incredible numbers. He would be the tallest receiver on the roster by 2 inches the day he showed up at 6'5", 212 pounds. He's certainly an option at 12. Some other options at receiver include Luther Burden III, Missouri Jr., who was a 5-star recruit in his own right and ran a 4.41 at the combine, but that was still not as quick as Matthew Golden, who went with a 4.29, the former Texas Longhorn, who had 7 receptions for 149 yards and a touchdown in that college football playoff quarterfinal against Arizona State. He ended his season on a high note. He could possibly be a first-round possibility for the Cowboys. Moving on to corner, the Cowboys need some cornerback help after the departure of Jordan Lewis. Will Johnson might be the most notable name at the top. He's had an opportunity to be an All-American not once but twice with that Wolverines program. He had an incredible 2023 campaign and was a big part of their national championship run under Jim Harbaugh that season. Another corner to look at. How about let's go south to Austin. Jahdae Barron, a very talented corner who can play inside and outside. Another opportunity for the Cowboys to replace a Jordan Lewis. He's at 5'11", 200 pounds, coming out of the SEC. He was the Jim Thorpe Award winner given to the best defensive back in college football. And then, of course, Travis Hunter, the two-way star and Heisman Trophy winner. This would be a trade-up scenario for the Cowboys, but I did want to put his name in the mix so that way I don't hear about it in the comments section when we get to that point in time. Last position I want to take a specific look at. How about Heisman runner-up and Frisco Lone Star product Ashton Jeanty? You've heard his name. You've seen him on the highlight reel. He put up an incredible season, probably the best season by a running back in college football outside of Barry Sanders. He'll be the first running back off the board. The question is, will he be there for Dallas at pick 12? The other running back to keep in note, Amarian Hampton out of North Carolina, certainly a talented running back in his own right. 2 years as a starter out in Chapel Hill. He is a blazer with the runner and with the ball in his hands. Can be used out of the backfield as well. Hampton and Jeanty are your 2 running back possibilities. Now, that's not the only names you should keep an eye on. Just a couple of examples and a couple positions of need for the Cowboys. Here are some other names I want you to take a look at. If the Cowboys wanted to go offensive line, they could possibly look at Will Campbell, an inside-out prospect out of LSU. Kelvin Banks Jr., same sort of deal. And then Josh Simmons coming off a knee injury, but possibly the best film out of this offensive line class. And then some defensive prospects. I really, really like the possibility of Mykel Williams. Big edge rusher with some length and some bend. All these names could be on the board at pick number 12. Bill, I'll send it back over to you. There's lots of possibility, lots of intrigue. We've got a month to go till the NFL draft.
All right, thanks, Kyle. It's definitely going to be very interesting to see what the Cowboys do with the 12th pick in the first round. When we come back here on The Blitz, Tyler Smith doing more great things in the community.
This segment was brought to you by Reliant, the official energy provider of the Dallas Cowboys.
This week in Cowboys history, it was 41 years ago that the Cowboys franchise was sold for the very first time. Clint Murkison, the original owner, sold it to a limited partnership led by Dallas businessman Bum Bright. NFL owners approved the deal in 1984 for $80 million. 5 years later, Jerry Jones would buy the team from Bright for $140 million.
Amazing this week in Cowboys history, 41 years ago is when Bum Bright bought the Cowboys. Of course, Jerry Jones buys the Cowboys some 5 years later, long before a guy named Tyler Smith was born. And of course, Tyler Smith, the pride of North Crowley High School, doing some great things in the community. He was at Dave & Buster's for the Salvation Army.
Spring break, the perfect time to escape the usual and just have some fun with friends. That's exactly what happened this week when the Dallas Cowboys partnered with the Salvation Army and Dave & Buster's to host an unforgettable day of games, food, and fun.
The Cowboys bring to us amazing partners. Dave & Buster's is one of them. And they have blessed these kids today with a phenomenal time. Not only are they going to get to play games all day long, they're going to get to win tickets and win prizes and have a fabulous lunch.
I hope the kids get a lot of excitement and fun out of this, and really just an unforgettable experience at Dave & Buster's Dallas. Is something you can't get really anywhere else, so we're happy that they're here to experience that.
This day was made even more special by a visit from Dallas Cowboys Tyler Smith.
The Salvation Army, I can't give enough props to them and all the work they do for the community. And just, the fact that they're willing to, be of service. And I feel like that's something I'm definitely trying to stress myself, is to just be of service to people. I'm very blessed, and, I would love to bless other people as well.
We're having fun, we're playing games, and we're eating.
I hope this is a day they never forget. I hope that they have a lot of fun, and I'm just having a lot of fun, being able to be a kid again and, play games with the students and do that.
For the Dallas Cowboys Blitz, I'm Pamela Jagger-Purcell.
You got to love what number 73 does in the community all the time, not just in the offseason, but even during the season as well. When we come back, speaking of numbers, we're going to get Nicole's favorite new number on this Cowboys team.
Closed captioning is brought to you by the Texas Lottery. Dallas Cowboys scratch tickets from the Texas Lottery are here. Play today. To watch more Dallas Cowboys content on your connected TV, download the Cowboys Now app on Amazon Fire, Roku, and Apple TV. The Dallas Cowboys Blitz, presented by Blockchain.com, was brought to you by AT&T, an official sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys, and by Blockchain.com. Invest like your icons with Blockchain.com.
On National Medal of Honor Day on March 25th will be the grand opening of the National Medal of Honor Museum right in Arlington, Texas. And this has been a few years of labor of love for us, but decades for Medal of Honor recipients who have been hopeful that this museum would actually come to fruition. And now for us to be able to open it to the country on Medal of Honor Day, March 25th, that will just be a moment that so many people will get to appreciate, but more importantly, the stories of those recipients will be able to live forever, generation to generation.
What a big week it is at the National Medal of Honor Museum on Tuesday. And Nicole Hutchison, that's going to be a big deal in Arlington.
Man, I've had the pleasure of going to all of the different events, having the players, shadowing the players, and getting to interact with some of the veterans and workers that have been working on this facility for so long. It's absolutely beautiful. I'm so excited for it finally to be finished and everyone else to finally see how the hard work has come to fruition.
And a great time for it to open up because it's baseball time in Arlington too, opening day on Thursday, but that opens on Tuesday. Meanwhile, we've got some new jersey numbers for you very quickly before we wrap up the show. There's some changes with some veterans on the roster, including Wanye Thomas, now wearing Jordan Lewis's number 2. Dante Fowler's back wearing number 3. What else catches your eye?
Man, I'm going with my favorite, Wanye Thomas. Hello, wearing J-Lou's number. They're actually really good friends as well, so I'm pretty sure there was something along the lines of maybe J-Lou saying, hey, go ahead and take over my number, and I think that Wanye is going to do so many good things with this number 2 in year 4 for him.
And some of the newcomers there, Javonte Williams, 33, Miles Sanders, 27, Solomon Thomas, number 90. All right, that does it for the Blitz this week. We're getting closer and closer to draft weekend. We'll have more of that coming up next week. Thanks for joining us here for the Blitz, your Dallas Cowboys report.